Border czar Tom Homan holding a productive meeting with Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey yesterday as the Trump administration works to de-escalate tensions in Minnesota.
It comes as a man rushed Congresswoman Ilhan Omar during a town hall meeting, spraying her with an unknown liquid as she called for DHS Secretary Kristi Noem to resign.
Matt Finn joins us live in Minneapolis with the details. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, guys. A 55-year-old man was arrested and charged after video appears to show him walking up to Congresswoman Omar and spraying her with liquid out of a syringe.
Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment. I don't know.
Oh my God, he sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing. No, we will continue.
No. Ilhan, you need to go get checked.
No, we will continue. I'm not going to get away with it.
Now, it's not clear what the liquid is. The attack happened at Omar's town hall here in Minneapolis last night. Omar was angered and shaken, but apparently mostly unharmed. Security tackled the man identified as Anthony James Kazmierczak and walked him out of the room. He was charged with third-degree assault. Representative Omar saying he was an agitator. Now, the frightening incident happened shortly after border czar Tom Homan announced he had meetings with Governor Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Frey here in Minnesota. Homan writing, "Today I met with Governor Walz, Mayor Frey, and top law enforcement officials to discuss the issues on the ground in Minnesota. We all agree that we need to support our law enforcement officers and get criminals off the streets. While we don't agree on everything, these meetings were a productive starting point, and I look forward to more conversations with key stakeholders in the days ahead." Now, President Trump has laid out a plan for what he says will end the chaos here in Minnesota, which in part requires Minnesota to turn over criminals for deportation. But Mayor Frey doesn't seem willing to play ball, also writing that I made it clear that Minneapolis does not and will not enforce federal immigration laws and that we will remain focused on keeping our neighbors and streets safe. City leaders will continue to stay in conversation with Mr. Homan and his team. So not clear what the path is moving forward as far as Minneapolis complying with the Trump administration. Governor Walz also released a statement through his office, and while he didn't make it clear, he didn't definitively state that Minnesota is unwilling to cooperate with the Trump administration. So we will continue to follow this and keep you guys updated. Back to you in New York.
All right, Matt Finn, live in Minneapolis. Thanks, Matt.
So Donald Trump was on with Will Cain last night, and he was talking about what's happening in Minnesota. And he said, we're definitely going to what was the word he used?
De-escalate.
De-escalate. Listen to this.
We have Tom Homan there now. We put him in there. He's great. And they met with the governor, the mayor, everybody else, and we're going to de-escalate a little bit. It couldn't have been a nicer conversation. And in fact, I said to my people, I said, it's hard to believe that's the same guy I watch on television, or I watch in a debate not doing so well, or because we had a very reasonable conversation, very good conversation. If you believe the conversation, he'd like to get this thing over with.
So I love that the solution is Tom Homan, and to that I say, your terms are acceptable. We can deal with Tom Homan. That's but you know, it really is a situation that has sort of kind of blown out of control. And, you know, throughout all of this, I always think about the agents. The agents are put into this incredibly difficult situation. And if people like Tim Walz and Jacob Frey are going to turn their state and their city into a war zone in which you have to have these agents operating, and they can find some compromise where they can get done what Trump promised to get done in the election without having scenes like we've been seeing, then that's a victory.
And you have to realize that President Trump opened the door to start moving this forward because of the chaos that it's become. And you're right about those agents, Charlie. I was with agents in Maine, and they were showing me posts where they were being doxxed, and when one, they were calling for a sniper to take out their family. This is real. These are real human beings. But to come back to what President Trump is trying to do, he's trying to get us back to where they were started, which was simply to go into sanctuary cities and ask for cooperation with criminal illegal aliens that they know that they're holding in their local jails, in the ones that have been released in the community. They're not asking these states and cities to enforce federal immigration law. They're just asking them to help transfer them and to allow federal immigration enforcement, ICE, to go in and arrest and deport these people and not get in the way. But yet, obviously, it's come to what it is now. Hopefully, Mayor Frey and Governor Walz will see the sensibility in this and an issue that is a 90-10 issue that most Americans want: criminal, dangerous, violent, illegal aliens off the streets, out of their communities, and out of the country.
Tom Homan, if you want to know how his meeting went with Mayor Frey and with the Governor Walz, he wrote this on X. We all agree that we need to support our law enforcement officers and get criminals off the streets. While we don't agree on everything, these meetings were a productive starting point, and I look forward to more conversations with key stakeholders in the days ahead. And Mayor Frey did say he will continue the conversations with Homan and Homan's team.
And whether you like it or not, all this plays out with the backdrop of politics. When you have chaos in the streets, and I think one of the reasons that Democrats are fomenting all of this is because they think that they feel like that the chaos is actually an advantage to them in the election coming up this November. And obviously, President Trump is well aware of that, and he's trying to tone down that rhetoric and still accomplish what he had promised he would accomplish without the chaos.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.